What's up, everybody? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, it is my favorite part of what we do here at Chat Sports, where we answer questions straight from you guys as a part of our weekly live show here on the channel. So if you guys haven't already, hit that subscribe button. You guys can ask me any question down below in the comments section. But if you guys are fired up for week 1 of the NFL season, it's just around the corner. Give me a skull down below in the chat right now. I want it looking like US Bank Stadium. Week 2 versus the San Francisco 49ers. You hear that gal horn roar, and then you just hear the skull chant being rained all over the field. So give me a skull down below if you guys are pumped up for week 1. But Chris Foles is coming in with the first question here, saying, who is the biggest X factor on the Vikings roster? Great question, Chris. A little bit of tongue twister right there. But no doubt, the biggest X factor is Sam Darnold. But I think that's a chalk answer. If I had to go another, player here, I would probably go Byron Murphy Jr. If I had to choose one player to really pop on this team, it would either be Ed Ingram or Byron Murphy. But let's just say Byron Murphy has a top 12 cornerback year, and Stephon Gilmore plays like he did with the Cowboys this past season. That cornerback group is probably playing at a top 15, top 12 level in the National Football League. So for me, it's obviously Sam Darnold, but number 2, no doubt, Byron Murphy Jr. But the Gray Warden Harold, shout out to you, big-time supporter of the channel, saying hashtag Vikings. What do you think are the strongest and weakest / most questionable parts of the Vikings team this year? Strongest position groups, I think it's wide receiver, just weapons as a whole. You know, Jefferson, Addison, Jones, Hawk. You could also go safeties. You got the three-headed monster. I think all 3 of those guys will have another great year this upcoming year. The weakest, most questionable parts of the team, you got to start at the interior of both offensive and defensive line. Like, specifically offensively. Like, Garrett Bradbury is still a question mark to me. Like, I don't know if he's a good center in the National Football League yet. Big question mark around Blake Brandel. A massive question mark around Ed Ingram. All 3 of those positions on the interior, you're not feeling too confident about them. And I'll tell you what, specifically on the interior offensive line, we will get that answer week 1 because the New York Giants have one of the best nose tackles, if not the best nose tackle in the National Football League in Dexter Lawrence. He will expose a lot of weaknesses on this team. And then also, I love Harrison Phillips. He's a great guy, but he's just a B-level tackle. Hopefully they get like a Levi Drake Rodriguez or a Jalen Redmond to really step up, and you think about that D-line group a little bit differently, but definitely the interiors of both offensive lines, both lines on this team. But Z Cool coming in saying, since the kickoffs are not as hard-hitting as they were last year, why not put Addison as the kick returner? Great question, Z. I saw Addison. He was getting a lot of work at the punt return spot in training camp. A couple of clips went viral on Twitter where he was returning kicks there. But I do think that's a good point. I was actually chopping it up with a couple of people here at Chat Sports, and I was making the argument, like, if you're the Miami Dolphins and you are, let's just say in a big-time playoff game, big-time divisional game, like, why not just put Tyreek Hill back there? And because he's the most explosive player on that team, why not just put him back there and hopefully he breaks one and completely changes the flow of that game? But you know who I wouldn't hate seeing back here at all? What about Jalen Nailor? I actually think Nailor, he's never done it. Besides, actually, I think he's done it at Michigan State. I could be wrong on that, but I think maybe he returned punts maybe at Michigan State. But I would throw a flyer on either Nailor or even Addison back there as the kick returner. Gilbert saying, should the Vikings go for Samaje Perine for depth? No, Samaje Perine actually signed with the Kansas City Chiefs early on today. Good thought there, Gilbert. I definitely do think the Vikes will look at the running back position. Maybe it's a guy like Javonte Williams. You could trade for him, or you could just find anybody off the street that can come in and, get some good reps at that spot. But Perine did go to the Chiefs earlier today, but appreciate the question, Gilbert. Charlie Fowler saying, will our interior D-line be better against the run this season? You would hope so. This defense was pretty solid last year. Did struggle somewhat against the run. They honestly ranked pretty well. I think they were 10th in the NFL in terms of run defense this past season. But still, I felt like teams, when they wanted to, they could run the ball against the Vikings, and specifically at the end of games. Like, anytime the Vikings were trying to forge any sort of a comeback and the defense really needed to get a stop to get the offensive football back, it just felt like every single run was just 5-6 yards, and they could not get off the field. So I'm hoping with maybe guys like Levi, Redmond, Taki Taimani, maybe he steps up in that spot. But if they just get any of those 3 UDFAs, or, obviously Levi being the 7th round pick to play some high-level football this year, I'll be feeling a lot better about that group. Are you as worried as I am about interior offensive line? I'm worried a lot. Yeah, I mean, I am extremely worried. DDD, PPP, no doubt about it. You're hoping you get Ed Ingram, plays a lot better football in his 3rd year. Hopefully Garrett Bradbury, takes that turn and finally plays like a first-round center should. I mean, that's the craziest part about Bradbury. He was a first-round pick. Like, I think we have honestly curved our expectations for him a little too hard, where we just want serviceable play out of him, when in reality, he should be playing like one of the best centers in the National Football League since he was a first-round pick. And then obviously Blake Brandel as well. He's barely played guard in his NFL career. So are you worried? 110% I'm worried. But also against the Giants, you're going to get an answer. Dexter Lawrence will expose a lot of those weaknesses week 1. But speaking about week 1, it's just around the corner. And I want you guys to get down to the comment section right now and predict the score of that game for me. Vikings in New York taking on the Giants. What do you guys think the score will be? Let me know your thoughts down below. I do want to give a massive shout out to today's presenting sponsor, and that is Factor. If you guys head over to factormeals.com/VikingsChat50, we will hook you guys up with 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code VikingsChat50 at factormeals.com/VikingsChat50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is still active. And with 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week, you'll always have new flavors to explore. Crush your wellness goals this month with dietitian-approved meals and ingredients that you can trust. Make your day delicious from breakfast to dessert. Stay fueled with easy, nutritious options. Treat yourself to a restaurant-quality meal that features premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, and blackened salmon. And keep kitchen time to a minimum. Factor meals are ready in just 2 minutes. So that's no shopping, prepping, cooking, or cleaning up needed. Enjoy effortless support for your lifestyle. Choose from 6 menu preferences to help manage calories, maximize protein intake, avoid meat, or simply eat well balanced. Head to factormeals.com/VikingsChat50 and use that code VikingsChat50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code VikingsChat50 at factormeals.com/VikingsChat50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. Big Bob Johnson coming with another question saying, will the Vikings sign another running back? TBD, I'm not sure yet. Obviously the Vikings keeping 2 running backs only on this final 53-man roster. You would assume they're going to make some sort of move there, but maybe they're just comfortable with Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler. And then obviously if injuries were to come, they just bring in a guy off the street. But they did re-sign Myles Gaskin to the practice squad. So if anything were to happen, I'm assuming they would just elevate him, or even maybe a guy like Dwayne McBride could get some good run there. But I was very disappointed about them, getting rid of Kene Nwangwu. He did end up going to the Saints, which is a little disappointing for me. But the Grey Warden coming in saying, how many sacks do you think the #Vikings will get this year? How many sacks? Let me look up how many sacks they had last year, because the edge group is better than it was. Obviously, Danielle Hunter did leave, but I thought you were able to go a little money ball with guys like Renard, Van Ginkel, and you had some other guys, that you brought in this year. So, you know what? I'll go bold here. I'll go 48 sacks for this Vikings defense. Better than last year, but, should be around top 10, top 12 in the NFL. But M. Mac coming in with a question saying, where do you see Noah Brown landing? Not sure. He was cut by the Houston Texans. I'm actually not sure if he already got picked up. If he did, I just did not see that right now. But Yeah, he did get released yesterday by the Houston Texans. Yeah, he is not signed just yet. I don't think he'll be coming to the Vikings. I think if they're going to make a move for a wide receiver 3, it would be a bigger name compared to Noah Brown. But hey, I think the Vikings are very, very comfortable with where they stand at receiver right now. But we got 2 more questions coming up. One from Landon saying, in Chat Sports mock draft, they have the Vikings getting Will Johnson at number 9. Do you think that could/will happen? 100% that could happen. I would be thrilled if that could happen. If you could pair up another Michigan defensive player to this defense, I would be thrilled. Will Johnson is going to be one of the best defensive players in the country. Know that name. And also, another name on Michigan. Mason Graham, defensive lineman. If the Vikings could leave next year's draft with one of those 2 players from the Wolverines, sign me up for that. I would take that in a heartbeat. Last question coming in from Brett Murphy saying, how will Turner do starting? Dallas Turner, I think, is going to be great. And I think it was pretty telling that the Vikings coaching staff saw him in week 1 and then barely rolled him out there for the rest of the preseason. They saw him beat one of the best left tackles in the league for the Raiders on 3 straight reps. They probably just said to themselves, why do we need the risk injury? He's already ready to go. He reminds me so much of a guy like Brian Burns, Von Miller, where super bendy edge rushers can really dip that shoulder and get underneath whatever offensive lineman it may be. He does need to improve in the run game. He's not really too good at setting the edge, as he is pretty undersized for a typical 4-3 edge rusher. But now with the modern day, style of football, everybody's faster. Everybody's got a little less, weight on them. But I think Turner's going to be great. I'm going to probably say 10+ sacks for him in his rookie year. But with the season just around the corner, guys, predict it for me. Over, under 6.5 wins for the Vikings this upcoming season. Let me know your thoughts down below. My Twitter is @PatSeeps. If you guys want to give me a follow over there, I'll give you guys a follow right back. But thank you guys so much for watching today's show. See you guys next time. Skol Vikes.